Okay, so here we are. This was the last demonstration painting that I did. We just did a simple skyscape with some March clouds, and they're moving off into the distance. I thought we would do another type of sky, different type of sky this time. Take this one off the block, and we'll go ahead and get started. These blocks, of course, have this little slit where you can insert a small knife, a butter knife, a table knife. That works well. So does a dull palette knife for those of you that paint in oils as well as watercolor. You just literally slice through that gummed edge, and that releases your painting. I'm going to put that one to the side. Again, we're going to use one brush. This time I'm going to use a flat brush. This time I'm going to not tape the edges. I'm just going to use my water, and I've tinted it slightly so that you can see maybe a little bit better. I'm use my water to define my edge. I do this sometimes because I like to get the broken edge effect, and it's a fun way of painting. It's also fast in the field if I'm switching paper quickly, and I don't want to take the time to masking tape things off. Once I get my area defined with my edges, I go ahead and go in and dampen the whole area for this sky. This has a slight greenish tint to it, so that you can hopefully see a little bit better. But that doesn't affect the sky, the painting itself. Everything will still work out fine, even though it has that slight greenish tint to it. Be surprised what you can get away with in a sky. A lot of people fear them or worry about it too much, but I think we can get away with quite a bit if we only try. So again, we're going to start with a warm yellow ochre or raw sienna and a bit of cadmium red. We're going to go way stronger this time with our initial wash. And we're going to vary it. We're going to warm it up a little bit more in places and let that cross over. I'm going to rotate this paper. I'm going to let gravity be my friend. And I'm going to move into some cerulean blue. And I'm going to let that cerulean blue blend up into the bottom part of this sky. Not working from reference today, more just doing this by intuition and trying to get an emotional sky that people will respond to, but it'll still have that verisimilitude and that ring of truth so that people don't doubt the reality. They're just inspired by the creativity. I'm going to rotate this paper one more time. I'm going to let the warmth of that sky come on down. I'm still damp enough that I can work back into this sky a little bit without too much danger, and it'll still soften. At this stage, I'm going to take ultramarine blue, either burnt sienna or a little bit of cad red. My goal here is to make a dark, a nice dark. This is going to be a dramatic sky. Something that's got a little bit of storm to it, a little bit of something that's a little bit scary, maybe even. For those of you that are sky watchers and keep an eye on the skies, you know that in the summertime you can get these very dark and ominous looking skies. That's what we're going to go for here. We're going to capitalize on the fact that our paper is just damp. And that's going to allow us to build some really nice cloud effects. Maintain that warmth. Now, often the blue of the sky will show through on a nice summer day, despite the fact that we have these ominous clouds going on. We can get some blue sky showing through as well. We're going to use that blue as a helper to paint the rest of this sky. You can see I'm coming over quite a bit of that original sky mix. We're creating something entirely different this time. A lot of times these clouds will overlap, especially when you're looking at a situation where there could be tornado activity. You get these wispy little clouds that hover and float in front of these other dark, ominous looking clouds. Sometimes it'll even get a little bit of a greenish tint to it. And while these are definitely situations where you need to heed the National Weather Service and take shelter if they recommend it, I can tell you I've spent a lot of times when I probably should have been taking shelter, and I was out watching these skies. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Most of the time you want to work in your sky for only a couple of minutes. These demos are a little longer because I'm talking and doing some things like that. But for the most part, you want to be in and out of your sky in a matter of minutes. And you don't want to come back in and rework. You want to hit it and get out of there. If you can, in 1 or 2 washes. That's all. We're going to come in and hit just some little distant clouds. These are kind of wispy things that are off in the distance. And that's a fast, down and dirty, summertime stormy sky. To recap, we dampened the entire paper. After we dampened the paper, we put in a warm wash using yellow ochre or raw sienna, burnt sienna, or maybe a little cad red light. Then we came in and established the storm cloud of the purple gray. Then we came in with the blue, ultramarine blue this time, and we cut in the dark zenith of the sky at the top here. We also had a nice cerulean wash to the bottom where the horizon is going to ultimately be. Now as this continues to dry, we're starting to see up here, there's no way I can come back into the top of this painting with even a damp brush at this point. If I do, the moisture from the brush is going to push out into the paper and it's going to create those blooms that we often don't want. Down here I still have a little opportunity. There's a glisten, a ever so slight glisten to the paper, and I can still work down here a little bit if I want to. I can introduce maybe a little bit stronger, darker clouds. Maybe I want to darken a couple of these. And I still have that opportunity because the paper is still in a position where I can work into it. Again, learning to read the moisture content of your paper is critical. But really, only experience can get that done for you. It's not something you can learn from watching a video, really even taking a workshop. You have to have brush mileage. And that brush mileage is what's going to allow you to read your paper and know what kind of moisture content is in the paper and in the brush. And ultimately that's going to allow you to know what you can do and when you can do it without creating those happy little mistakes that we often fear in watercolor. We're just going to put a little bit of a horizon line here. Again, not really meant to be a finished painting. More of a study, something that would be done on location perhaps, or in the studio where you just simply want to practice. And that's enough to give the notion of what's going on this day. You can take a damp brush and pull out some light of this wash just to add a little bit of interest down here. I don't want a lot of interest down here because this isn't what matters in this painting. The sky is what matters. But I can take that thirsty brush that is only slightly damp and I can lift a little pattern of light. And then if I like, I can come in there with some sort of a dark, a warm dark, and I can add some, what will appear ultimately to be some bushes or shrubs or what have you in the landscape. Again, this time we didn't tape off. We're working fast and furious here on this particular one. More than anything, I wanted to show you how you can capture that effect of those ominous but incredibly beautiful summer storm clouds that we often get out here on the prairie. Something really worth studying and practicing in your own work. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been beneficial. Please go to jrmonks.com to see more of my paintings, and take a look at YouTube and see my others. Hopefully I'll upgrade my video equipment and we'll just make better and better videos for you guys. Okay, take care and thank you.